Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, where we discuss the latest cryptocurrency news and introduce you to the pioneers and the founders of the space. Today, I'm very kindly joined by a good friend of mine, Nico, aka the Shinobi Shiller. Thanks for joining us today. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm doing solid, man. Thanks for having me on. Me and Spud have spent some good time together over the years across various events and across various continents and countries. So hope I can, do some cool shit. We'll talk about some good stuff, go over the market, take it from there. I'll let you lead.
Awesome, man. No, I'm glad to have you on. Someone that has a lot of alpha. And like you say, I think we first met back in ETH Barcelona, then saw you again going down to Zebu, and then probably another spot I'm forgetting in between there as well. And then recently, obviously, Token 2049, which was an absolutely crazy event. So many side events there. And it was great to connect with someone like you who also is really well connected in the space. You're currently working with market makers at the moment. We'll touch on that a little bit later as well. But you've got lots of great insight to share, and you're a young gun in the game, not just a pretty face. You have a master's degree in AI machine learning, correct?
Yeah, I did a chemistry degree like undergraduate, and then I did a machine learning and AI master's basically. So it gives me a bit of technical background. These days, I'm not really doing too much dev stuff, despite like always wanting to go back into it. I want to see if I can go into algo trading again. But it just gives me a good understanding of a lot of the fundamentals and technical sides to be able to like speak to founders, speak to teams, all that kind of stuff.
Nice, awesome. And we'll just do a shout out to the comments. We've got Christian here. Afternoon, everyone. Big up, Chris. We've got RVN here as well. Good day. And we've also got Alex Bell. Guys, if you have any questions while we're going along, make sure to drop them in the comments and we will get to them as and when. Also, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does wonders for the algorithm. So much appreciated, guys. Make sure to hit that like button. But yeah, let's get underway. Let's go over to the first news story of today. Everyone's talking about it right now. As you can see from the page we've got up there, the markets are down. But here, there's an article saying, after 7 consecutive green months, Bitcoin's run is finally over. So if we go down to this graphic down here, an expected result after 7 months of green returns, Bitcoin would eventually record a red month candle. So April saw Bitcoin lose 14.76% of its value. Look, we can see from the chart, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, all green months. February was really nice. April 14%. What's your opinions on this? I see a lot of people are kind of joking around right now, but I'm not sure whether to laugh or cry. What's your opinion there, Nico?
I mean, personally, I think that this was like, this needed to happen at some point, right? But I think I'm not worried about it at all. Like, I think it's like perfectly natural. Market needs to pull back a bit. Like, take a GCR style approach, right? Like, if you're bullish in the long term, this is literally nothing to worry about. As long as you differentiate whether you're an investor or a trader. If you're a trader, obviously, and you're trying to do little quick things and you're gonna get wrecked on this, of course, you might be a bit upset right now. But if you're an investor, you shouldn't be worrying. If anything, you should be just taking your dry powder, deploying it now. Like the it's all about asymmetric upside, right? Or asymmetric risk compared to your potential upside. And like this is literally, people would have been crying, like waiting for these pullbacks 3 weeks ago when the market was going crazy.
And then when it finally happens, they're not there to pick up the good prices.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, if we go a little bit further down here, it says what comes next. At the time of writing, Bitcoin was trading at roughly 57,000. I think we're about 58,000 at the moment. But April's dip continued to the first day of May, and the 50,000 range has been monitored throughout Bitcoin's consolidation above 60,000. If we go to the next article as well, it's a report from Glassnode. Whether you listen to Glassnode, they seem to put out a lot of opposing kind of information, but a recent Glassnode report has hinted that Bitcoin may soon find its bottom. Since attaining its new all-time high of $73,737 on the 14th of March, Bitcoin has undergone a significant correction. It had failed to drop below 60,000 since first breaking through the level of 28 on the 28th of February, but this most recent drop has seen the level fail, reaching a current local low of 57,500. yeah, if we go into a bit further of the Glassnode report as well, they say early stages of both the 2020, 21, and 2023-24 bull run exhibit a convergence between local distribution patterns and periods of price consolidation. As the market surged to new peaks, selling pressure resurfaces while investors reintroducing dormant supply to meet rising demand. Glassnode also highlighted Middle East leading to a correction to 60,300. It has sparked a lot of conversation as well. A lot of people have been saying sell in May, walk away. I have been expecting this myself. I always look at the seasonal trends for cryptocurrency, and I do expect a range over summertime, but it doesn't mean that there's not going to be opportunities in those spaces as well. I think we're going to touch on slightly later with Nico some kind of altcoin and meme coin potentials as well. And I think yes, the general market might be playing against us right now over the summer, but there's still so much opportunities, a lot of pre-sales coming through as well. It's just perhaps a little bit harder to find those opportunities.
I'll say quickly, it's also to do with like a lot of the post-tax stuff as well. But like from what I see, like because I speak to so many projects, like in the behind the scenes, bro, everyone is launching a token this summer. Like I've literally spoken to probably over 100 projects that are launching a token in June or something like that.
Yeah.
Everyone is launching something over the next couple months. So whether it be chicken and the egg kind of scenario in the sense that does price lead first and then people launch tokens afterwards. Either way, it's like if enough tokens are coming out, like they'll probably do well. Just at this stage, right? Like everyone's been waiting basically to launch tokens at this point in the market, because if you're trying to raise at the bottom of a bear market or you launch token, then you're just like setting yourself up for failure. It's not necessarily the right way to go about it from a ethical or like good for the space sense in the long term. But in terms of these projects who want to make a bag in the short term, especially like a solid launch, it's super important.
Super important. And how many projects were launching around the halving week? That was crazy. I did not have enough liquidity for all of them. And luckily, I didn't, I got into a few of the pre-sales for projects launching, tokens launching around the halving week. But yeah, it was that was crazy as well. I wasn't too sure if that was the best time, but it seems like a lot of projects went with the, planning around the halving and launching there, which perhaps now
I do think the sell the news though, like not because like even within specifically the Bitcoin and ordinals ecosystem, right? Like I speak to a lot of guys, I got some friends in there, and the sell off across some of those like coins and ordinals post halving was like insane. And even just like in the wider markets, like you could say that a lot of the stuff that's going on now, is partially that kind of sell the news post like ETF and halving and ETH ETF looking less likely despite Hong Kong passing it, so yeah, it's a kind of like a coalition of like all those things pretty much.
Yeah. While you brought up Hong Kong, you just mentioned to me off stream that you're actually headed to Hong Kong in 2 weeks, I believe.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm going to there's a basically Bitcoin and Ordinals Asia from 9th to 11th of May, so just over a week. There should be a lot of big projects there. I'm gonna try to do some interviews and speak to various people, which should be good. It's like the kind of one of the bigger basically Bitcoin and ordinal ecosystem kind of conferences that is happening this year. And as far as these things go, Asia always has like a super big presence, especially in like anything Bitcoin related. So should be super interesting. And like last time I was at Bitcoin stuff in ETH Denver and stuff like this, like the interest from funds, especially like Asian VC funds, they're loving this shit. Like they're sucking it up. So it's that space will definitely do very well in the long term for sure.
Awesome, man. No, very bullish on Hong Kong. I'm sure you'll have an amazing trip somewhere I've been meaning to head over to. I know Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, they all are such great crypto hubs right now in the space. But let's head over to the next story of today, which is Binance founder CZ sentenced to 4 months in prison. Judge Jones rejected the 3-year sentence recommended by federal prosecutors. So, is this a double? Is this a dub in your eyes, Nico? Is 4 months?
I think this is a. I think this is a serious fucking dub, man. I mean, like considering that Sam Bankman got like was it 25 years or something like that, and that CZ got away with 4 months. The thing is, he initially it was 10 years, and he managed to fight it down to 4 months. He even tried to get it to 0, right? Because if you remember or look at the Arthur Hayes case with BitMEX like 2 years ago, Arthur Hayes basically got off with 0 like sentence time. He was just on a probation and kind of like home, yeah, exactly, right.
Which most people in the Web3
Arthur,
industry do anyway. We don't go out much apart from events.
yeah, exactly. He just hustled, got a Maelstrom to get into like Athena and Pendle and all these things, and now he's just like caking it. So yeah, I think this is pretty big for CZ, to be honest. Like, if anything, I'm kind of jealous of him. Like, he gets to go do a little monk retreat in prison, Suzu style, for a couple months. He'll probably come out stronger. Like, I think the redemption arc is going to be pretty epic, honestly.
Maybe that's the next meme coin play. Maybe we do like a muscle CZ or something, you know, and perhaps he's going to be
Yeah, I
hitting
don't know if you use pum.fun very much, but there's like been a lot of coins launching that are like you know, CZ and SBF hanging out in jail, like type meme coins. And I was actually at the pum.fun offices last night because I've been friends with the founders for some time. And they're doing really fucking well. Really fucking well.
No, awesome. Yeah, I think this is a W. I know, don't get me wrong, no one wants to be spending 4 months in prison, but they wanted to bury the hatchet with Binance. So I think, like you said, they were proposing 10 years at one point. So 4 months, yeah, I think he's going to be celebrating this. He'll be out in no time.
He'll come out jacked. He'll read all the books. You know, his mind will be cleansed to 0. He can like come back with a fresh pair of eyes.
We've got Tim Tam Tomo here saying prison ramen CZ. But yeah, let's head over to take a look at the markets now as well, and then we're going to tail off into some other bits. We'll go through your questions as well. Nico has a lot to present us also. But yeah, if we look at, let me just get a reload on this to make sure it's all accurate as well. So we've got Bitcoin chilling just below 58,000. In the stream yesterday, we said if it wasn't going to hold that 61,000, it was likely to come down to these levels, 57. I'll have to go back and watch that stream, actually. I think we called that almost perfectly there. Thanks for Dave for the market analysis as well. Guys, if you're looking for more market analysis, make sure to join CSE Plus. Link is in description as well. But let's have a look at a few gainers as well. Let's turn that on to the top 100. So we've actually got Atom, Cosmos, Polkadot actually doing all right on the 24-hour. Funnily enough, I was speaking about Polkadot yesterday as well. $6, around $6 is a good buy for me. I will be looking to kind of up my bags. Do you see any of your coins in the gainers here, Nico?
I mean, personally, like, I'm not really like buying these kinds of things, and like I would actually be extremely wary of buying Polkadot. Yeah, like maybe from like a price perspective, but like I genuinely think it's like one of the most biggest VC scam dead ecosystems I've ever seen. Like, I was in Berlin one time for a big crypto conference there. It was like ETH Berlin or DAppCon last year, and literally like I went to a Polkadot event and there was no one there. Like, this was like supposed to be the biggest event of the whole event, and there was I was literally the only person there. I walked in and a guy offered to give me $10 if I downloaded the like Polkadot Nova app, like just for turning up. I was like, I was just so bearish after that.
Did you take the $10?
I don't know how I feel about Dot. I took the $10, sent it somewhere else, sold it instantly, and then deleted the app because I don't want to fucking use that shit. But yeah,
no, you know,
also Polkadot. I'll say quickly, as an ecosystem as well, like they're kind of fucked because for ages, you know, they were like trying to figure out how do they turn things around. And the issue was that, you know, with all the meme coin stuff, like they wanted to pivot to it and just try to get more meme coins and activity. But you couldn't even like airdrop tokens to anyone on Polkadot without them holding at least like 10 tokens or something like that. So I think they've recently dropped it to like 0.1 Polkadot. You have to like hold to be able to airdrop stuff. But it's like, still, it's like that's just trying to like jump on a dead train and being a dead horse at this point, I think.
I've got to admit, you know, I held a similar theory across the bear market. Sold all my Dot, you know, over a year ago now, and since I got wind that, you know, they've got a lot of funding, they're starting to market a lot. Like you said, they're pivoting. I do think there is the potential for some upside. It's not a long-term one for me. It's kind of a short to medium term. You know, Bitcoin, high caps, low caps. Polkadot is something I'm looking at. I hold very small amount at the moment. But I do think there's some upside potential just because the amount of marketing and the amount of noise they're making at the moment. Like yourself, I'm still not I'm still not sold on the underlying coin, which is Polkadot. So and what they've got going on. I know the foundation was super struggling throughout the bear market as well. But then perhaps I hear that from the Solana boys because it's a bit of a competition there. So you've got to take everything with a little bit of, a little pinch of salt. Let's have a look at the losers in the market today as well. We've got Stacks down over 10%, Neo down 9%. Nothing crazy right now, This is why I woke up and I was almost, I saw where Bitcoin was. I looked to my altcoin bags. I was almost expecting more of a drop than it was. But this is not to say.
I was gonna say I do think the Stacks dip and, for example, the Ton dip, though, are quite interesting just because of the current sort of hype around it. I don't know if you're aware of like the Stacks Nakamoto upgrade as well, but there's a current like war going on between like BTC L2s and all this stuff. But the thing is that Stacks is actually the only really kind of like viable contender that's been doing this for many years, and also is like the most performant because they're all basically just like side chains, right? So yeah, I actually think like if people haven't looked into Stacks, like they should. Ouroboros Capital did like a pretty good piece on Stacks, and also Alex Chain, which is like another Bitcoin ecosystem kind of like sub-chain bridge type thing. And I think there's a lot of upside there. So post Hong Kong, I'll write something up on it.
Awesome, man. And while we're on the, while we're talking about the content you create and the threads you make, let me just show you guys where they can find you as well on Twitter, which is Shinobi Schiller there, guys. Make sure to go follow Nico as well. Let me just put the banner up so you won't miss it. Also, brilliant banner at the bottom there, guys. But Nico, we've got a few questions from the group now, and I think this is a good moment to kind of tail off. Perhaps we'll split the screens now so you can share as well. But we've got Christian asking, what projects are catching your attention currently?
Projects catching my attention in particular. I mean, some of the stuff I put down before that I think is interesting. For example, Renzo launched their token yesterday. It actually had an exploit at the same time, but it was actually an opportunity for a lot of people to just basically like snipe a bunch of Renzo. And the interesting thing is that if you look at something like EtherFi, which is then the next thing I would say I'm looking at right now that I'm interested in, it might be easier if I actually just show my screen because I got some stuff up. Let's do it. Let's see what I can do. So you should be able to, if you pull it up.
There we go.
Let me find it. Okay, so let me see where I found it. If it lets me go back.
Also, guys, just wanted to let you know that Nico will be joining CSC Plus. So, if you have any questions about projects that he's mentioned in the future, hit him up in the Discord, and we'll start some conversation around some of these projects that we're going to bring to you guys now.
Yeah. So regarding Renzo, it's pretty interesting. If I can just find it. Yeah, here it is. So like they basically had a big depeg on their liquid, restaked ETH, and you had. I think it's interesting that like obviously all the fresh wallets were the ones that dumped. They only dumped about 2 million, whereas the top holders of it actually just used it as an opportunity to just buy 10 million more. And the interesting thing is as well, like if you look at the token price, it's obviously been dumping quite a lot.
Yeah.
But the reality though is that what's their ticker? Is it Ren? Sorry, bro. Dex was kind of a bit slow.
No worries, man. No worries.
Hang on. I'll focus on EtherFi, right? Like EtherFi has a market cap of 400 million, right? But the interesting thing is that if you look at the market share of both of them, let me find it here.
Oh, nice.
It's here. So look how much TVL basically EtherFi has compared to Renzo. So EtherFi is the number one LRT, Renzo is number 2. So it's 3.6 billion compared to 3 billion, right? Yeah. However, the market cap of ETHFi is like 400 mil right now compared to Renzo's, which I can't get it up because it's not loading, but I'll tell you, it's like about like 150 mil. So you're looking at basically almost the same TVL, but like a third of the value, following the fact that obviously there was a bit of an exploit and the token's not doing super well. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting.
Nice. And what network did I see? It was on Solana. Did you say?
No. This is all on mainnet ETH. This is
Yeah,
all
yeah,
on mainnet ETH. But I mean, yeah, if you want to speak about Solana stuff though, it's
yeah.
interesting you were speaking about volumes and all this kind of stuff. I think this is pretty interesting, right? Hong Kong ETF volume on launch day was 11 mil, whereas Banana Gun's daily trading volume was 12, right? So like this one like memeified trading gun, like sniper telegram bot is literally doing more volume than all of Hong Kong trying to buy ETH, right? So I think it kind of like not only shows you the power of Banana, but also shows you how like in the grand scheme of things, the Hong Kong ETF is like pretty small. There's a big difference between a China ETF and a Hong Kong ETF at the end of the day. Like Hong Kong is still very small in
Yeah.
the grand scheme of things.
Where do you find some of these meme coins? Where do they come across your plate?
I mean, I guess like you're discovering them a lot on Twitter first. Recently you got things like Pum.Fun where it's just like an autistic collage of just every meme coin being launched every second. These
Very
guys are
well.
doing, these guys are taking like 1% of all trading volume that's happening, and they're facilitating millions and millions of volume daily. So they're doing very well for themselves. But otherwise, it's stuff like this, for example, like Alphanomics. These guys are really good. They have a really good platform with a bunch of alpha on it for on-chain stats and stuff. But where is it? There was a here, for example, like they're showing like the strength of certain base meme coins, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like things like Normedia you might have seen before, Boomer and Higher as well. I'm surprised Brett's not on here, to be honest.
yeah,
But I think it's still doing pretty well. Back in the day, there's a guy called Crypto Dan, and he was super bullish on base before I saw anyone else, right? Just because the whole thesis of Coinbase users and Coinbase having a bunch of money to funnel people onto their own L2. I think it's a very strong argument and thesis. But at the same time, if you've ever actually like interacted with the Coinbase wallet, it's like I don't know
yeah,
if it's really there yet. I feel like retail users are going to struggle a bit. But like speaking about like where the market's at, like whether you're a trader or not, like you can admit that like this is a pretty good time to buy Brett if you were doing it for a long run, right? If you think this is going to go to over a bill in a bull market, in the top of a bull market, at least we're already in a bull market, right? So
yeah,
if you were going to buy, now would be a better time than buying up here, right? So Brett's still doing well. You see meme coins like that on Twitter. You see it on, I have a bunch of Telegram chats where I speak to people. I think that's honestly the best way. Like having a chat with 10, 20 guys who are all doing this at the same time will give you a lot of perspectives that you just will not necessarily find yourself. Like there's literally only so much that you can do. There's so many opportunities in this market, like every day, that it's like impossible to think that you're going to catch them all. Even
yeah.
if you're exposed to them all, you won't even catch them all.
Exactly, and it's hard to have eyes everywhere in the market, and that's why I've said it a million times before. It is important to be a part of a community and have eyes looking out everywhere, bringing back information to then put your own research on as well. You've been using trading bots as well. I think you mentioned you've been using BonkBot as well with and what they've been doing with burning Bonk, and now I see they're actually burning other tokens as well, which is a quite cool way. I believe they're using like a referral. I think I saw Slurf. They put out their referral. Anyone uses their referral, it will instead burn Slurf rather than Bonk. So super cool idea that they're using. We had BonkBot on the stream back in November time. But what's your thoughts on trading bots and Bonk in general?
Yeah, I've spoken with the BongBot team. I know some of the London guys. They're really cool. I mean, like, I think that all these bots are super good. I think this is a super good dashboard. So Whale Hunter is one of the top Dune guys. I'm good mates with him. And for example, like you can see the market share of BonkBot compared to some of these others.
Wow.
I believe is it showing here? Maybe it's not showing for some reason. Oh no, Bonkbot in grey. Like so, look,
Yeah.
this middleweight grey one is Bonkbot, right? Like these guys have been absolutely destroying things for like quite a while. At least, obviously, on Solana, right? I'm a big believer in Banana because I think that it is generally a superior product.
Yeah.
Obviously, marketing is going to be a big part. That's why Bonkbot is getting so much activity. But it's also because of the fact that when it comes to meme coin trading, a lot of it is happening on Solana. So if you are BonkBot and you have market share in Solana, you're going to go very far. But things like Trojan have also been getting a lot of like action recently. Let me see if it's what color is Trojan here? Trojan is this dark blue. Yeah, these charts are great, but they're just a bit like hard to read sometimes. But yeah, like Trojan as well currently has 27.5% of the like Telegram trading market, you know. So if you're a elite Solana meme coin trader, you're probably using Trojan, because despite BonkBot being very good, it does actually miss like quite a lot of features. Like it doesn't have limit orders. You know, it's just not necessarily the best product. It just has the biggest name. And considering that a lot of the times you're having to fund a wallet when you get started, and the reality is that like most people are just lazy, they just can't be bothered to swap from BonkBot to Trojan, even though it's like a better product. Same thing with Banana.
The markets are very sticky. I saw a post, commenting on BonkBot. Even with the coins that are traded on those trading bots, often people will stick to the same one and kind of don't look elsewhere. Myself a few months back, I was a little bit hesitant to load up a Telegram wallet. It's only until you start using it and you go, wow, this is actually the modern way of trading. I can put on these shit trades while I'm out and about on my phone, etc. And just to go back to Banana Gun there, sorry, have you actually used the Banana Gun trading bot yet, or were you just an investor?
Yeah, I use Banana Gun quite a lot. Like I have a banana position as well. Like, interestingly enough, like banana has been like up only the past few days. It's like one of the only things that's like been super fucking up only the past few days, despite like the whole market tanking. So, I'm definitely happy about that. But
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's a great product. I know some guys who are very close with the team who are investors in their kind of like seed round and stuff as well. And as the market maker I work for, we have a sister company called Aori. They're also working very closely with people like Banana for all kinds of like DEX routing. And so, yeah, I think it's a really good product. I think they're doing really well. The reason like probably their token price is surviving is because you look at a chart like this, they're literally, the orange, right, shows that all the new users they're getting, and they're getting like, 3, 4, all the way up to like 8K new users a day. And cumulatively, like the consistently like sticky users is also just growing. And there's like, I don't have it up here, but there's some other stats that show the like execution times of the bundles they do. And Banana pretty much gets you into sniping new tokens earlier and faster than anything else on the market. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So I tend to look at these things as opposed to just which ones have the the biggest brand or most usage, right? Because it doesn't actually mean they're the best. And especially when you're sniping, if you can get into a especially a low cap meme coin, even a couple transactions earlier than someone else, you can literally make like a multitude of X's more than them. And so it's pretty interesting. This is pretty cool as well. I always show this because it's cool, right? Like it shows based on the time of day and also the day of the week when there's like the most activity across Telegram trading bots. So you can see that it's not there's not a very large variance, right? It goes from 163K at the start of the week down to 150, but it generally shows you the trend that as the week goes on, people get more tired, they lose more money trading, most likely, right? So they kind of step away from the markets more. And you can see the kind of like hours in the day, right, with regards to, I think, evening-ish UTC, which is kind of like morning, daytime America and stuff like that. So I don't know if let's say you were, maybe I am, who knows, right? Like launching a meme coin in a couple of weeks, like this might be stuff that I want to consider, right? In terms of when am I launching? Because look, this is a pretty big deal. One mil volume at 9 UTC compared to 1.5, right? Like that's literally like a 50% plus increase.
Yeah. And these are some of the technical aspects you've got to look at when launching a successful meme coin. And as we know, it's all about momentum as well. With meme coins, you can have a brilliant idea. If it doesn't get the correct momentum in it within the first few days, often it flops. Don't get me wrong. We kind of see these unicorns that will be, look at Pepe, for example, was dead for absolute months and then out of nowhere shoots up. Almost similar with Bonk as well. We've got another question from Christian. Do you think the hot narrative that usually appears in the end is out there now? Is it meme, runes, etc.? What do you think the hot narrative is right now, Nico?
I actually think the hot narrative that will make the most money, but people will probably ignore the most, is like these like very user-centric apps, right? Like things like Pump.Fun, right? Like the amount of money these guys are making, what they're actually facilitating. Like these guys are basically responsible for like the majority of meme coins on Solana, and the majority of meme coins on all chains is coming from Solana. So that's hence why you're seeing such low activity on ETH right now, right? And you've got things like Friendtech that are kind of coming about. Like, I'm not saying necessarily Friendtech is going to be the app that like onboards everyone, right? But it's like these kinds of things. I think people are generally like sleeping on like, you know, ETH ecosystem and rewards and LRTs and all this kind of stuff, right? Like, despite the risks of something like Eigenlayer, in my opinion, it's something that's going to attract institutions, right? Like, we've had the Bitcoin ETF, we've had the ETH ETF. If you actually think about it, there aren't really, now post-halving even more, there aren't really any other huge catalysts to look forward to, right? However, someone said to me once, and I think it's a pretty good point, one catalyst that would be interesting is if like another country actually was to adopt Bitcoin, right? If we had an El Salvador type thing happen again, that would be very interesting. So yeah, I mean, but otherwise, you know, it's like the obvious stuff, right? It's like AI, it's real world assets, the fact that BlackRock deployed a, you know, an ETH on-chain fund and they're going to tokenize everything, right? I've spoken to all kinds of people who are trying to tokenize oil, tokenize renewable energy, and I think that like all this stuff is very much has its place. But at the end of the day, also is just like the meme side of things, man. Because like at the end of the day, people are going to try tokenize anything. So if you can tokenize attention and marketing, and like you may have seen this guy called Rasma on Twitter, and he did some interviews with Ansem, and it's just funny because like he'll go up to random people in like New York and he'll literally ask them, would you rather invest in this picture of a dog with a hat or into an ecosystem or this, right? Or into an ecosystem like Arbitrum where it's a scaling L2 that has all this like, you know, fancy words, but no one knows what they mean, right? So if you're a new person coming into this, like it's pretty obvious which one you're going to pick.
Yeah.
It's funny, but yeah, it's kind of
funny
true.
video, man. Pull it up and see if the volume will work. Even it.
Yeah, let me know. Can you hear it?
No. But yeah, it is a funny video.
We
man.
got subtitles, luckily, but yeah.
They all go
Yeah,
for
this kind of proves everything, you know.
Yeah,
I think this proves the point very well.
And I think the problem is, you know, a lot of people try fight against it. I think you've got to go with the flow with it, haven't you? You know, we're going to have these meme coin seasons, bit of fun, but you know, don't worry. Proper projects with utility are there, but you've got to go with the flow with it. We've got Tim Tam Tom saying, "GambleFi elite competitions type thing will be big." What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think like look at the hype of Rollbit, for example. It's not doing quite so well now, obviously, but you know, it's this. I think that's more to do with concerns around like, is their money real and revenues real? But like, there's also things like Winner, for example, which is like it's a whole ecosystem of. It's basically like it lets you build gambling ecosystems on top of like their stack, basically. And it's like, but it's worth like virtually nothing. Like, I think that all this gambling stuff is definitely has a place, right? If you think about it, Pump.Fun and all these meme coins is really just tokenized crypto gambling. So that's that, right? But I just think you just got to be very careful and like know your risk appetite when it comes to investing into GambleFi type stuff. Like, I saw some early stage rounds that were sent to me to participate in certain GambleFi projects. And like, if I had unlimited money, like, sure, I would like throw a couple K at these things, and I'm sure they do well. But like personally, like I don't really want to be putting too much money into stuff like that if it's vested for like a year, especially without like a super strong
narrative.
thesis.
And often the founders of these game GambleFi projects, they're not doxed for good reason, because regulation is super hot. But then that also puts an extra element, an extra red flag there, because if the team aren't doxed, they're run away. They can do. And the regulation does scare me a little bit. I know most of them set up in these different jurisdictions, but things can change. And I think that's one hurdle, like real world assets, but one hurdle that the GambleFi scene's facing at the moment as well.
A lot of them are making a load of money, though. I mean, like I know guys who own casinos, and I know how much money they make. It's honestly insane. Like, part of the reason I also stay away from this stuff is like, despite trading and shitcoining, I've never been a gambler, right? Like, I play a bit of poker, but like I see that more as like a challenge, like chess type thing, right? I just put a bit of money on the line. Like, I'm not going to do it with large amounts. I don't really personally feel like I have an edge, like looking at gambling sites and defining like what's going to do well and stuff. So tends to be an area I kind of avoid. unless there's like certain big people backing it. If I see it, like it makes sense, like I'm obviously going to take a trade. But yeah, it's just risky. That's the only thing.
That's it, man. I think being in Web3, we kind of, like you say, gamble enough, so we get that fix, that feeling from investing in a meme coin. I think every human on this planet, they do like that little bit of risk. They like a gamble. Luckily, I feel like most people in Web3, aren't the type to spend a load on slot machines and everything, because we kind of have our own our own risk and our own gambles in the space we're in already. So, but yeah, it's an interesting one. Rollbit, Blockchain Bet, Soul Casino. Spoke to Soul Casino, yeah, and those guys are raking it in, but also providing a great platform for it as well. But what have you pulled up here? Is another alt buy signal?
Yeah, so this is really interesting. So I work very closely with Crypto Corio, and he's one of the biggest Dune dashboard kind of wizards, right?
Yeah.
And he basically built this, which shows it's basically what he calls a signal for when to buy alts. And he's basically aggregated a ton of data across Bitcoin and open interest and volume across everything that's not Bitcoin to basically get a ratio of like where are alts in terms of price compared to where Bitcoin is, right? It's a ratio of Bitcoin to alts. And so you can look at all the times when Bitcoin was at its lowest, when objectively looking back would have been the best time to buy. You can see that this alt signal comes below, it's basically as low as possible, right? So below this 0.2 to 0.4 area is generally a good time to buy alts. And right now you can see that due to everything that's been happening over the past few weeks, it's currently the lowest time, or the best time rather, is it lowest signal, therefore the best time to buy alts in basically the last however many years since 2019. Like it's never been this low, at least according to Crypto Corio's graph here, right? So despite being very up in the general things that we're around 60k, the reality is we're probably going to go much higher this cycle. I think that's fairly obvious. It's that crypto has done that for the past 10 years plus. I don't think it's going to stop. So don't get shaken out by like silly dips like this. And if anything, the fact that alts are bleeding so hard right now is like your absolute signal to be deploying, right? So yeah, of course, like you got to look at different indicators and like get confidence amongst different things. But I like to look at this from time to time, and I was watching it when it was up here in the sort of just above 0.2 region, and now that I see it down here, it's just like an even bigger sign. Like when you see this giant V-shape type, super big go in one direction, it typically comes back, right? Look when it's wicked down and it's wicked back, it's wicked down, it's wicked back. What do you see here? We've wicked down massively. So what's going to happen? Most likely, right? Not financial advice, right? But like probably you're going to get a big turnaround soon.
Here we go. Not financial advice, guys.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, right, like even if the market dumps more, which look, it might, but like I don't give a fuck, right? I'm in this for the long term. If you're dollar cost averaging in like at a reasonable rate, it shouldn't matter. You just buy now and you just buy more later if it dips. If you have dry powder, great. You just bring your average cost down. But grand scheme of things, like now is a generally good time to buy. And a lot of very smart people that, even for example, let's look at GCR. GCR being like one of the biggest legends of all time, right? This guy only comes out of hiding. He literally posts like a couple of tweets a year, only comes out of hiding when there's something to say. And 10 days ago, here, what do you say? If you have long-term conviction in BTC and ETH, you will outperform just holding and not trading. They're only going to keep printing more money. You're unlikely to time every local top. ETH at 10K is one day programmed. So despite your views on like Solana versus ETH, he came out of hiding for a good reason, right? If you've been sidelined, I believe this is a good opportunity. He said this a couple of weeks ago before we even dipped even more. So you're telling me that when GCR said this, you've now got an even better time to deploy. Yet people want to like cry and whatever. But to be honest, I think sentiment's pretty bullish despite price being down on Twitter, at least amongst smart people.
I think people are just having a bit of a joke with it, and like you said, this was always kind of expected. We knew, the weeks following the Bitcoin halving was likely to see, either a range or some downside. But yeah, no, super interesting. And I've got to go back to that chart as well. It was funny where it says, buy your house, sell your house.
Yeah.
No, super awesome chart there. I'll be asking you for that one as well. But yeah,
for sure.
What else would you like to go through today, Nico?
Let's see what I wrote down.
Yeah, we have a few more bits. Guys, if you have any suggestions as well, please drop them in the comments. Be much appreciated. But let's have a little look. What else to go for? There was the meme coin, your meme coin pick. I've seen you be posting it a lot about it. Golden Degen's also a big fan. Retardio.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, Retardio is just like, Retardio is great, man. I mean, I was trading Retardio literally while I was at a Milady rave in Denver, like when it came out, uh, and made some, good profits off of it at the start. It's one of those things where, it has a market cap of literally like 20 mil or something like that, but
Yeah,
the mind share that it has on Twitter is
I see it
actually
everywhere.
insane. Exactly, right? You see it everywhere, right? And despite like everything that's going on, I mean, look at that. Like as a meme coin, like it's been performing very well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like some prophet trying to go technical analysis style, right? I'm just
No,
looking at
of
like
course not.
relative strength, right? It's generally in an uptrend compared to everything else that's in a downtrend, right?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing as well is that if you look at they launched an NFT collection as well. Um, and considering that one Remilio is worth like 1.5 ETH, which is like, 5K ish, and these are worth around 10 ish Sol, which,
Wow.
yes, Sol is down a bit more, but, not long ago, that meant that each one was worth like 1 or 2K.
Yeah,
If a
yeah, yeah.
Milady is worth a couple of ETH and that's, 10, 15K, it kind of all makes sense. And so,
Yeah.
despite them not necessarily being affiliated with Remilio and Milady, but obviously being a play on them, they very much kind of like inserted themselves into the culture, and I don't think they're going anywhere. So, and you know this, and everyone watching will know this, right? Like the community at the end of the day is the biggest thing.
Mm.
Um, you know, if you've got people posting about it, if the stuff's always there, that's what's going to keep it going, right? Otherwise, these things will eventually just trend to zero. I don't know why this isn't loading, but yeah, it's definitely a good one for sure. I mean, other meme coin stuff. I mean, I think things like Bonk, for example, because they've got the utility of Bonk Bot, is always like a pretty safe thing to kind of like go into as well. I don't know why it's not even coming up here. Dex was giving me a lot of issues right now. But yeah, that's kind of my thought on Retardio at least. Other things I think are interesting right now. Um, you know, despite Tau already having gone on a pretty crazy run,
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's literally like 50% down from highs is a pretty good sign of like where alts are at, right? And
Mhm.
again, like I'm no technical analysis god, and I don't think that necessarily technical analysis is always the way to go with regards to valuing something. But if you were going to buy, now would be a pretty good time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but yeah.
I like you say, I'm gonna look back at that altcoin chart as well, and hopefully, like you say, it can't go much lower on that chart anyway. So a lot of people saying, sell in May, walk away. I'm gonna be keeping my eyes to the ground and ear to the ground rather, and keep pushing through because I think there's going to be lots of opportunities, just perhaps a little bit harder to find at the moment compared to go back in February where everything was just shooting up. So there's still the opportunities there. Just got to shout out Tim Tam Tomo as well. He sent a super sticker, 99p donation. Let's go! Thank you, Tim Tam
Man,
Tomo.
that's bull market profits right there, you know.
That's it. He's an OG member of CSE Plus, guys. I am actually in Manchester for the week. I will be meeting up with some CSE Plus members, including Tim Tam Tomo. So if you are in the north and fancy meeting up with the CSE crew tomorrow, if you're a Discord member, that is, please hit me up and we will either meet in Manchester, Halifax. Let me know, guys. We've got another question from Tim Tam Tomo. Can I get in your meme alpha group?
Who, me personally? I mean, yeah, sure, bro. Come on in. Why not? The more the merrier.
Well, so Nico's coming into CSC Plus Discord anyway, so we'll get the DGen section, going. We'll get some more meme coin plays up and running. What
Yeah,
are
just
you currently
drop
seeing,
me a
Nico?
DM. Yeah, I mean, I think another interesting one that's like been dipping a lot, but is going to do super well is Pendle, right? Like,
Yeah,
look at this, the TVL over the last like 4 months, right? Um, Literally gone from less than 1 billion to touching 5 billion. Yeah, it's
crazy.
retraced now a little bit. A lot of people were obviously investing like regarding Eigenlayer because they offered a lot of farming and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But as a protocol, they're only expanding. they've got a huge team, literally of like 30 plus guys based in Singapore, super smart guys. I've spoken with some of them, and you know, they're backed by people like Arthur Hayes. You've got Maelstrom, Arthur Hayes' family office, pushing them the whole time. And like, there's just no reason why they're not going to keep going, right? It's they're basically going for the whole ETH staking points market, and they're the biggest guys and been doing it for the longest time. So, looking at the fact that they ran up from literally $2 up to literally 7 or 8, and now it's back to like 4. Again, in the grand scheme of things, now is a pretty good time to get in, right? Like, it could dip more, but things like this are what I'm looking at right now.
Have you worked with the team at Pendle, or perhaps spoke to them? Were they at the event in Denver?
Yeah, so I've met some of them in person and also spoken to them online. I'm actually looking to be maybe working with them soon on a market making side as well, which should be pretty cool. So yeah, no, super fucking good guys, honestly.
No, great to see, man. And I think there, Nico, I think we'll wrap up for today. Unless you've got any more bits to go through, guys. If you've got any more questions, drop them now. But yeah, loads of insight here. I look forward for you to join the Discord, and let's, if when you've got time, man, when you're not at these events, let's run this back again. Got lots more alpha to give. Let me just share over to my screen quickly as well, guys. If you're wanting to follow Nico, go follow him on Shinobi Schiller. Also, crypto saving expert, of course. We've got comment from Christian. Great live stream. And we will see Nico in the CSE Plus Discord very soon, guys. Thank you, Nico, for joining us today. Any final words for everyone listening in today?
Yeah, just appreciate having me on. Good to chat the shit about what's good in crypto right now. This is what I like to do, so always happy to do it. I'm sure we'll come on do some more alpha another time. Hope some of the stuff I flicked through was useful for someone. And yeah, appreciate it. It's been good.
Awesome, man. Have an amazing day. And guys, everyone listening as well, have an amazing day. And we will catch you guys tomorrow as well. We've got another special guest, so stay tuned to hear who that is as well. But guys, make sure to follow Nico as well. And we'll have him back on the stream very soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Stay bullish. Let's go.